Yeah,
Hello. I'm sorry if you can't hear me. I'm just walking past some guys doing some work. It's been a while again, but like I said in the last video, I kind of want to do this every 2 weeks as opposed to weekly, or I think it's been about 2.5 weeks. And I'm going to make this whole video pretty much about consistency. And I want to try and explain how I've been consistent and how I've been able to achieve what I've been able to achieve in, I think, 13, 14 weeks. Again, it's not what you need to do, and I kind of want to show that, and that was like the whole point of this. I want people to understand that what I'm doing is not what they need to do. I've just finished my cardio. I now do 7 bouts of 40 minutes on the Stairmaster a week, so every day. I'm still training 5 days a week. Calories are down to 2,100 and something and on training days, and 1,800 and something on non-training days. Steps are still around 10, 12,000. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to give you a physique update now, and I will speak to you after that about consistency. Hello. So, consistency. So you can see from my physique update that I am a lot leaner now than I was 2 weeks ago. Do you know the thing is, I'm actually not a lot leaner. It's just once you get to a point, things start to become far more noticeable. And at the opposite end of the spectrum, like once you get to a point of like leanness, it becomes a lot easier to be able to eat more and maintain that. And I don't want that to sound arrogant, and I don't want that to sound like any sort of like positive thing towards me. It's just, I've got a good friend. I remember him telling me, Michael Goods, who lives in Canada now. I can remember we all used to. He is still in incredible shape, and I can remember him saying to me, once you get here, it's a lot easier to maintain it because it takes so long to gain fat that once you've done the hard work of getting in shape, you don't get to go back to the way you were eating before, but you can maintain it a lot easier. So I'm kind of waffling already. I just had a strong coffee and I've been putting this off, so I've just decided to just do it now. But you can see that with the consistency that I've been using, I've managed to get myself leaner. And I am starting to have like I would call it like a beach lean body. Like for me especially, that's how lean I would like to be if I went on holiday. However, everything crazy starts happening from now. So we've still got 7.5 weeks. I gave you an update on everything that I'm doing, cardio, training, all that earlier on. But now I want to help you, and I want to try and explain and show you how consistency kind of works, and why you don't need to take the approach I'm taking, but most people think they do, and then when they cock it up, they think they've absolutely failed. Bear with me, I will try and do this as quick as I can, but I want it to try and click and make sense for you. So, we're all trying to get from A to B. A is wherever we start, B is less body fat. And the quickest route is a straight line. However, realistically, this is really hard, and it's hard to fit into like a normal life. I get caught, a couple of my pals call me a monk. They say I live like the monk lifestyle. And that's kind of what I am doing. I'm trying to stay as straight, or the way I was thinking about it earlier on, in these sort of parameters, is that the right word? Parameters? I don't know if that's the right word, but I think you'll understand what I mean. I'm trying to stay within here, so my walk, my 10,000 steps is maybe slightly different route. I maybe do slightly more steps, slightly less steps, but I'm staying within here. There are times where just your body does fight back a little bit. It tries to make you a little bit lazier, and it tries to hold on to a bit more body fat. But I'm staying within this. And if you can also stay in it, but almost wobble yourself around, like you think about, this could be a night out. This could be a takeaway the following week. But if you, from your A to B, you have, let's say, a takeaway, then you go out, then you have another takeaway, and then you potentially just can't be bothered, so you skip a couple gym sessions. You're all the way up there. And then you have to do all this work to get back within the parameters. I'm saying that is the right word. But I want you to be like realistic with yourself. My guidelines are pretty close. Yours could be slightly wider. So you may take like a couple of days off, come back down. You maybe take another couple of days off, come back down. Obviously this is going to take a little bit longer, but it's still allowing you to live a very comfortable life, an enjoyable life. You're not having to, like I wanted to talk about this and I've not really had a chance to, and I suppose just now is the time. I've been away on a course down in Birmingham and I had to prepare my meals when I got there. I had to go shopping, I had to book an Airbnb so I could cook my own meals. I was eating like miserable microwaved eggs in the mornings with just some packaged lettuce. I do have photos that I'll share at some point. I had a beautiful view and that made it a lot easier. It was just looking over the Birmingham city and it was nice, but not everybody wants to do that. A lot of people want to go away for the weekend and be able to just eat and drink whatever they want. But you have to be able to keep that within your parameter. So instead of like eating and drinking as much as you possibly can, just have as much as you want. A lot of people will have as well this expectation, but what actually happens in real life is it is much more like, maybe even comes back a little bit, but you will get there if you just don't give up. This coming back could be a holiday. So that going back the way, you might go on holiday, and you don't want to go on holiday and have to track calories or scrimp on like what you eat, and you might want to do it. But if you can live a healthy life 80% of the time and then enjoy yourself 20%, it's going to be a lot easier for you. And I think too many people are trying to do this real regimented and restricted lifestyle. But you've got to remember, I'm stepping on stage and I'm going to be getting compared to other people that have done a similar thing to I've done. And I also want to push myself to a point that's very uncomfortable for me, because I like being able to talk to clients about, I know what it's like to suffer through it. I know what it's like to just be like, I can't be bothered with this today. Like, I want to push myself to that point. Again, for one, I want to show you that you don't need to do this. You can be pretty flexible with yourself. It just might take a little bit longer. I also want to push myself so I can relate to clients when they change their lifestyle, or we ask them to eat slightly different to what they're eating, and that's difficult. That's the hard parts of this is changing. You as a person's changing. It's not going to the gym for an hour. It's not eating for 4, 6 or 3, 6 meals that are healthy. Like, that's not difficult. It's doing that consistently that's difficult, and it's changing those habits and behaviors. Habits are things you just do regularly or you do without thinking. Behaviors are how you react to things. So for example, a bad habit could be smoking. And then if you think of a kid misbehaving, they're not getting their own way, so they take a temper tantrum in the supermarket. That's habits and behaviors. And as humans, we have those and we do them without even probably realizing. But again, with regards, again, I'm waffling. I know I am waffling, and I'm sorry. It's maybe the caffeine, but we all know I am very waffly. What I want, like the main point of this whole video, I want you to understand is consistency will get you there, but consistency doesn't have to be bland, and it doesn't have to be the same thing. Consistency doesn't mean repetitive. It just means, again, you're within a certain give for yourself, or you're giving yourself a certain amount of flex, but it keeps you on track. When you slip up at the first place, or the say that's the straight line, and you, let's say over the month, you know, right, I've got a holiday there, I've got a wedding there, and then the following week it's someone's birthday. You can almost plan them in as well. But what most people do is they go to that, and then they're like, oh well, and they give up, and then they push themselves. But A to A. What they end up doing is they give up and just go back to the start. Whereas if you just get back on track in some sort of sense, whether you just go get steps in, you maybe go for a jog the next day, you maybe just eat a slightly healthier breakfast or lunch or whatever, you start pulling yourself back to that straight line. Not many people, and I'm dead serious, not many people can do a straight line. It is hard. and I think that's why I like it as well. But again, if you know it's going to happen and you don't give up at these hurdles, you realise that it's just going to take you a little bit longer, but you will get there. It'll make life a lot easier for you dieting, doing fat loss, getting fitter, getting stronger. Hell, it could work with promotions and jobs. It could help with relationships. A straight line's the quickest route, but it's not feasible for everybody. It's not going to work. I hope that makes sense. That's just like, I guess it's a bit of an insight into my brain as well. I am going to try and keep posting every 2 weeks. I think over the next couple of weeks I'll have to start posting a bit more regularly because my physique will start changing. It'll look more drastic. But it's just because my body fat percentage is getting lower and lower and lower. I still feel okay. I did just eat there, so I feel alright. Last night was the first night that I actually had to have a little battle saying, just eat a bit more. And that's the first time that's happened in 13, 14 weeks. And again, that straight line, I've stuck to that straight line every day for 13, 14 weeks. I think I've maybe had a glass of wine and a beer in that time, but it was like right way back at the start. The beer I might be making up, but I definitely had a glass of wine. But it was within my calories. I pretty much missed the whole meal to have a glass of wine, which I wouldn't do now, but back then I could afford to. Calories were high enough. Again, thank you very much for watching. I do really hope that makes some sense to you. I hope it kind of eases off and takes off a bit of pressure that you've put on yourself. And again, if you do need any help with fat loss, training, you maybe potentially even want a one-on-one session, please do get in touch. Not through YouTube because I don't get a notification for the messages. Either the Instagram, Facebook, or the email address. I'll link them all down below. If you even want to just have a consultation call, get in touch and we can chat through where you're at, where you're going, and if we need to help you or if I think you're just doing the right things. I'm more than happy to do that too. I hope this all made sense. I hope it helps. And I hope it clears up the idea of what you need to be doing. You don't need to be eating the same thing every day. You just have to stay with a certain amount of calories. You don't need to be doing the same amount of exercise every day. Just try and get a certain amount over the week. You don't need to be adding in cardio just to burn extra calories. You don't need to be doing the same 10,000 step walk every day, just hit 10,000 steps. You need to be flexible in that sense, but there are laws and rules to fat loss. You need to be in a calorie deficit, end of. And to do that, it takes like a week to accumulate. It takes a bit of time. You can be in a calorie deficit in a day, but you're not going to achieve much fat loss until the end of the week. I hope that makes sense. If I can help anymore, please let me know. If there is anything that you want me to kind of touch on or show, I will do some training stuff. Martin, I know you've commented. I will do some training stuff. I actually recorded myself training today, and there's something I want to talk about with training and being self-conscious. Have a good one. I really do hope this helps, and I'll speak to you soon.